and welcome to Heal Yourself Gwinnett. I am your host and upper cervical chiropractor, Dr. Lauren Millman of Swanee Spine and Wellness Center. We are recording our show here today live from the Gwinnett Chamber Small Business Summit at the Infinite Energy Center. We record our show, Heal Yourself Gwinnett, on the last Wednesday of the month. And we are here today. I'm here today with my producers, Mike and Trey. Hi, guys.
Hey, I'm here for.
So I always do that. I try to get Trey to talk, and he doesn't have a mic. I do it every time.
Only me.
Okay.
And I'm here for moral support, and we got Z here as well.
Hi,
so
Z.
How
you doing?
You got the whole crew.
Yeah.
So recording live on site here at the Infinite Energy Center. How cool is this?
This is very cool. This is a little nerve-wracking. As long as there's not too many people that walk by, I'm easily distracted.
Well, the good thing is you're the first show. It's early in the morning.
It is.
Most of the crowd has not arrived yet.
I think I'm going to be okay.
Pressure's off.
Okay, yeah. So I'm noticing a problem. Where my real live tweeting? Where's my tweeting?
Not today.
Not today. All right.
You can't have it all.
I can't?
We don't want to spoil you.
Okay, I can't. All right, that's good. Well, today we're gonna talk about a hot topic today. And I'm gonna talk about something that this time of year, we're getting ready to go into Thanksgiving. Here in a hop, skip, and a jump away, we're gonna be right into the cusp of Christmas, which I don't know where this year has gone, but the biggest conversation going on, I think, in my office with my patients right now is talking about the cold and flu season. People are coming in and, whether they're other patients coming in or people that aren't patients. And one of probably the biggest questions that I get is, Doc, what can I do? We're going into the season right now. A lot of people around me may be sick. What can I do? How can I prevent myself? So first and foremost, to give you, the conversation that I give to those patients before we even get there, I want to dispel some myths and about the common misconceptions that we really see, about that I hear about the common cold and the flu. So, the first one, I'm just diving right on into this. I'm not even playing around today. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, probably the number one myth that I hear is people saying, that the exposure to a virus in and of itself is what's going to make you sick. So people will say, well, or maybe someone doesn't want to be, they don't want to be in someone's presence because they know that person has a cold. So, don't go around me, I'm sick. I don't want you to get sick. And that's probably easily one of the biggest misconceptions about that. It's not the exposure to a virus alone that causes one to become sick. We are constantly exposed to, a multitude of viruses all day, every day. And in that, so it's not the exposure, it's the combination of the exposure to a virus plus a weakened immune system. You have to have the combination of those two. One of a really interesting research study that I read was scientists have incubated viruses, and they've taken those viruses and placed them in the mucus lining of the nose, and only 12% of the time those people actually became sick. Only 12% of the time. So let's say, for example, they did that to 100 people, and 88 of them didn't get sick. So you have to have the exposure plus, the weakened immune system. For your body to express a cold, this weakened immune system can happen from a lot of factors. And typically around this time of season, it's getting colder out. We are wearing more clothes, less exposure to natural sunlight, which brings us vitamin D. Sometimes there's more stressors in our lives right now because of the holiday season. We're eating more sugar because of the just great food that's around us right now. So all these things kind of compound on each other. So it's not just the virus or not just the exposure. And we can always talk. That's just kind of the overview. I could talk alone just about that. All these myths, I could probably do a radio show in and of itself. I do like to hear myself talk on occasion, Mike. So
it's good stuff, though.
Yeah, it's good. I'm biased, but I think so too. So the second myth.
That's why you're Swanee's favorite chiropractor, by the way.
Swanee's favorite chiropractor. So the second myth I hear people say, antibiotics make me better. I have a cold, I'm sick, I need to just go get an antibiotic and everything is going to be okay. Here's the thing is the majority of colds and flus are caused by viruses. And antibiotics only work on bacterial infections, only. So to take an antibiotic just for if something if your cold or flu is caused by a virus, it's not only inappropriate, it's ineffective, and in my personal opinion, I think that it's dangerous. We can have a problem, and I think we do have a problem of the overuse of antibiotics. And the problem is when you actually go to need an antibiotic, we're finding people are needing stronger and stronger medication to handle things that could be relatively simple to treat with when it is a bacterial infection, because there's been such the overprescribed use of antibiotics right now. So when we need them, they're not as effective as they should be. So here's the thing, especially when we're talking about medication, and if you have a cold or flu and you go to your doctor, there are no meds that you can take for that virus. The thing is you have to work on building up your immune system. Your immune system is your fighter in that. So it's not about trying to cover it up. So you think about, people taking, whenever they have a cold or a flu, they're going to take decongestants or, an antihistamine to try to cover up the symptoms that their body is expressing during this time. And but that's not actually healing you. That's not healing you. It might make you feel better, might make some of the mucus and some of the stuff that your body's trying to expel make that go away, but it's not going to make you better. Your body's healing from the inside out. That's how you end up getting rid of that virus. The third myth, the big, and this is a big hot topic with me. Again, I can write an article just alone on this, or have a radio show just about this, which is the flu shot does not protect you from the flu. The effectiveness of the flu vaccine is minimal at best. It really is ultimately, when you start reading and researching, how they come to terms with what strain of the flu to inject in you. It's a guessing game, typically from the last year's strain. So the purpose behind the vaccine is to expose you with a weakened strain of a live virus in efforts to stimulate the immune response. And a weakened strain, along with preservatives and a host of other bad stuff and dangerous ingredients, they're injected to the individual to stimulate the immune system. Problem is, if you already have an immune system, because clearly you do, or weakened immune system because you're sick, then injecting further toxins is possibly not the smartest choice. Plus, it's a guessing game at best. So I tell people all the time, there are other things that we can do that are less harmful. The last one that I'm going to talk about, or the last myth that I'm going to talk about, because I'm not going to be over after that, Mike. I'm not over just after the myth. The myth number 4 is a fever is a bad thing. And most people think I have a fever, I have to suppress it, I have to turn it off, I can't have my body have a fever. So I actually think the exact opposite. A fever is a natural response by your immune system to increase body temperature, because viruses and bacteria cannot survive in high heat environments. That's why your body produces a fever. Did you know that?
Let me ask you a question. Since we're talking about myths, you've talked about myths a little bit so far this morning.
Uh-huh.
Feed a fever, starve a cold, or vice versa. I don't know which way it goes. Is any of that really work?
I'm not so sure about starving a cold. Feed a fever. I think that I would tend to steer more towards that one. If your body is raising its temperature because it's trying to fight off the virus bacteria, then I'm the one that, if you're already, you shiver because you're cold when you have a fever. So what do you want to do? You want to wrap yourself in a blanket. Well, if your body has high temperature, why would you wrap yourself in a blanket? Because it's trying to further increase the temperature. So your body is working and doing what it needs to increase that. So feed a fever, wrap yourself up, make it hotter, take a hot bath, increase that temperature, continue to go up. So, a fever, especially a fever in the range of the mothers especially, can get very nervous about their child having a fever. But a fever on the range of, 103 to 104 degrees for a very short bout is sometimes what the body needs to be able to fight off that infection. So I'm not talking about, for less than 24 hours for very short bats. They don't. It doesn't go up that high and stay for very long. Usually it goes up and it spikes and it comes right back down. So as long as you're monitoring it, you want to allow the fevers to go up just for those very short times. And 24 hours, 48 hours of just being able to monitor it. And then if it stays up or it's continuing to stay up, then maybe we can get other, take other measures. But
so the whole feeding anything or starving anything, just if you're hungry, you eat. If you're not hungry, don't eat. Just be
your body will
your
tell you
normal
what
thing.
it needs. If your body, if you don't want to eat, I believe that your body is saying, you know what, I can't handle any other energy in the body right now to digest food. All the energy that we have in our body is the immune system wants to use it to fight off the infection. So if you don't want to eat, I mean, you're not going to if you're not going to starve. If your body wants to eat, it's gonna tell you, hey, I'm hungry.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yes.
You got it?
If you're hungry, eat.
If you're hungry, eat.
Don't. If you're sick one way or the other, don't say, well, I'm supposed to starve myself. No, just if you're hungry, you eat.
No. Yeah, you're hungry if you eat. Your body will tell you. I'm a firm believer to listen to what your body is trying to tell you, because it will tell you what it needs. It will. So, but a fever is not a bad thing. Monitor it closely, and let it ride. Let it ride. So that's a song, isn't it?
I don't know. I know when I go to Vegas, I let it ride, but that's another story.
We don't talk about that.
Okay.
You can't. We can't talk about that. That's bad. Hi, how you doing? So a couple of better suggestions. I told you I'd get distracted. Stop laughing, Trey.
We should not be taping your shows live on sites.
I'm just so popular. People are walking by
just keep
and
you in the studio.
I'm going to be signing autographs after the show.
How do
See
you know
all these? They're lining up already, guys.
How do you know they're not waving at me?
They're not.
Okay.
So
you are the star of the show.
I am.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you some better suggestions. So we've dispelled some myths here. So we don't believe any of those things anymore, just because I've just said them just now. Better suggestion is, I believe, the best offense really is a strong defense.
That's what Coach Quinn of the Falcons says.
Is that what he says?
Yes.
Well, I believe
you would know that because your husband works for the Falcons.
He does. And he's going to listen to this later, and so he's going to feel very excited the fact that we're giving him a shout-out right now. So he's going to be famous now after that. But Coach Quinn probably says that. But, just whenever you get sick, possibly isn't the time to think about trying to build up your defenses. You can, and yes, there's certain things you can do, but the idea is that, long before you get sick, that you're doing things to keep your immune system up. Right now, recognizing that we're kind of going into the season and there's going to be less sunlight, more clothing on, you're going to be indoors more, so your vitamin D levels are going to drop or potentially drop. So certain things you need to be, drinking more water. We're going to be inside, so we're not going to get it more, even just fresh air. So certain things that you need to be aware of, going into it. But when your immune system, a weakened immune system, is often a result of too much stress, whether it be physical, emotional, mental stress. Basically your body, by the time you get sick, your body has passed a healthy threshold of being able to handle its surroundings. Listen to that. I'm a firm believer of listening to your body and, honoring if you feel like you're kind of going past its limits. The last thing that I think that one should do whenever we're kind of, overworked, overrun, is to try to push through it. Which I think that's what exactly what I think our society and peers are trying to tell us to do. Talking about enhancing your immune system. So the other thing is, one of the things where I'm talking about with my patients as they're coming in is enhancing or making sure that your nervous system, which is the master control system of your entire body. When you're making sure that your nervous system is running and doing what it needs to do, that's actually going to feed and run your immune system. So, one of the most effective ways to work on your nervous system is to make sure that you are in perfect balance, making sure that there's no twisting, bending, bowing in your spine to put pressure on that nervous system to keep it from functioning as it needs to. And one of the studies that I like, because I do like reading a lot of research, is in a 3-year study that they just took 107 individuals. So it wasn't a large study at all by any means. They took 107 individuals who've been under chiropractic care for 5 years or more. And this is pretty phenomenal, Mike. So they found that those individuals had a 200% greater immune competence than people who had not been under chiropractic care at all. Those same 107 individuals had a 400% greater immune competence than people with cancer or other serious illnesses. So keeping your immune system or your nervous system functioning as it should, that's actually going to be one of the first ways to keep you from ever getting sick to begin with. A personal story about me is a little nugget about Dr. Millman is I started actually going to see a chiropractor whenever I was young. I was a teenager, and I was a very sick kid. I was a very sick kid growing up. And nothing bad, no serious illness. I just had a lot of colds. I was always sick. I was always taken out, taken off from school. I think more than I should. And it was just kind of like my way of life. And it wasn't until I started getting under chiropractic care myself that now I just don't have those same issues that I had whenever I was younger. I don't we can go through the whole season and I just don't get sick. I see a lot of people every day in my clinic. We have a very busy practice, and I tend not to get sick. So why is that? It's, working to keep my immune system up. So those that utilize chiropractic care as their regular healthcare routine experience less illness and sickness overall. And when they do, should they come in contact with something pretty bad, they are able to recover and recover more fully and quickly than if they hadn't been under care. So,
you know what you've done?
What have I done?
You've buried the lead.
I've buried the lead.
You buried the lead, as they say in the newspaper business or in the broadcast business. Some of those numbers you gave, 200% healthier and so forth.
Yeah.
That should be the headline.
It should.
For everything you do, why people ought to use a upper cervical chiropractor.
Yeah, I mean it's and a lot of people.
It took you 15, 16 minutes into the show to get to that.
Trey, are you laughing at that? Seriously? Oh my goodness! So yeah, he is.
That right there is all anyone needs to know. Why to come to Swanee Spine and Wellness Center.
I would agree. Should we stop there?
Yeah, I don't know if we can top that.
I don't know. I have 3 more bullet points. So
okay.
But I will tell you this.
It's your show.
But you know what? I kind of agree with you. Why don't we stop there? Because boom, just to seal it in, just nail the coffin in right there. That was the end of the show.
Can we flip the show, make that at the beginning?
If we want to do it again.
Let's start again.
Oh, I don't want to start again.
No, okay.
Okay. So
finish your bullet points. No, you're on a roll.
So, the other thing that we talked about is I could actually do a whole show just alone on vitamin D. And vitamin D is something that whenever it is something in your body, it's actually a hormone that almost every body process actually will utilize that to be able to function as it needs to. So, when in the wintertime, we get our vitamin D from natural sunlight. We can, and one way anyway. But during the wintertime, our exposure to that decreases because, like I've already talked about, we're wearing more clothes, we're inside more, and so you don't get that exposure anymore. So typically our vitamin D levels will drop. Again, one of the reasons I think that we tend to get sick more in this time of season. So I think maybe I will do a show just alone on vitamin D one day, but that is one thing. The other one is we already talked about this time of season, limiting, watching your diet. And because right now we're going into Thanksgiving and then the Christmas season, and we're eating possibly not the good foods as far as they taste incredible. At least it's like that in my house, but there's more sugar involved. So if you already have a decreased immune system, that viruses and bacteria feed on that sugar. So that could be another reason. Limiting your stressors, even good stressors, can sometimes overwhelm. There's one of my patients right there, sir. There's one, even good stressors can sometimes, if you're already kind of near that threshold, put you over the edge. So those are your points today. That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting, Mike.
That's good stuff, though.
So if you want to find out more, actually, I wrote an article on this topic, and I will upload this article to my Facebook page. So if anybody wants some more information, some more details, you can certainly download that from my Facebook page. You can find me at facebook.com/SSAWC, which would stand for Swanee Spine and Wellness Center. You can send me a message and share with me that you heard us on Heal Yourself Gwinnett. It's been my pleasure recording and broadcasting here from the Small Business Summit for Heal Yourself Gwinnett. This has been, or I am, your host and upper cervical chiropractor, Dr. Lauren Millman, telling you to have a healthy day.